The alarms screamed through the mining ship like angry ghosts. Deho pressed his hand against the cold metal wall and felt his legs give out beneath him. His skin burned from the inside, and every breath felt like swallowing fire. Radiation levels critical, the computer voice announced calmly, as if it wasn't delivering a death sentence. All crew members require immediate medical attention. Deho looked at his hands. They were shaking badly now, and he could see red marks spreading across his skin like someone had painted them there. Around him, his 5 crew members were in worse condition. 2 had already stopped moving. "We need help," Captain Park wheezed from across the cargo bay. "Any station, anyone." Deho crawled to the communication panel. His vision blurred, but he managed to hit the distress button. The screen flickered to life, showing a map of nearby stations. Only one was close enough. Only one could reach them in time, the Velthar medical station. "They won't help us," someone groaned. "Aliens don't treat humans." "Then we die here," Deho said simply. He pressed the call button. The screen filled with a face that was both beautiful and strange. 4 eyes blinked at him, arranged in a diamond pattern on a face that glowed with soft blue light. The creature had no nose that Deho could see, but a small mouth that moved when it spoke. "This is Medical Station Kesva. State your emergency." The voice was female, musical, and the translator chip in Deho's ear turned her words into Korean. "Human mining vessel. Radiation exposure, 6 crew. Critical condition," Deho managed to say before his throat closed up. He coughed and blood spattered the console. The alien's 4 eyes widened. "All of them. Humans? We have never treated your species before." "Please," Deho whispered. "We're dying." There was a long pause. The glowing patterns on the alien's face shifted from blue to purple, then back to blue. "I am Lysara, medical officer. Sending docking coordinates now. We will try to help you." The next hour was a blur of pain and movement. Somehow the ship's autopilot got them to the station. Somehow Deho stayed conscious long enough to open the airlock. Then there were hands on him. Too many hands. 4 of them, he realized dimly. Each Velthar had 4 arms. "Careful with this one," Lysara's voice said above him. "His readings are beyond fatal. I don't understand how he's still conscious." "Humans are more resilient than we thought," another voice said. This one was male and sounded doubtful. Or he should already be dead. They carried Deho through corridors that glowed with the same soft light as the alien's skin. Everything was too bright, too strange. He closed his eyes. "Keep them open, human," Lysara said urgently. "Stay with me." But Deho couldn't. The darkness pulled him down like deep water, and he let it take him. When he woke, he was floating. No, not floating. Suspended in some kind of gel that held him gently in place. He tried to move and found he couldn't. Panic shot through him. "Calm yourself." Lysara appeared beside the tank. Up close, she was even stranger than on the screen. Her skin was pale gray, covered in patterns that glowed and shifted colors. She had 4 arms, as he'd noticed before, but now he saw she was wearing something like a medical coat that had been specially made for her shape. "You're in a healing pod. The radiation damaged your cells badly. Without treatment, you would die within hours. The others?" Deho's voice came out weak and strange. 2 did not survive the journey. The others are stable but critical. Lysara touched a panel and the gel began to drain away. "I'm going to try something. Our standard treatments are not working fast enough for your biology. You need something stronger." She held up a small container. Inside was a liquid that glowed with the same soft light as her skin. "This is what we call healing milk. It contains living compounds that repair damage at the cellular level. We use it only in the most desperate cases because it creates a temporary bond between patient and healer." "Will it work on humans?" Deho asked. "I don't know," Lysara said honestly, "but you will certainly die without it." "Then do it." Lysara hesitated. "You need to understand. This is not like your human medicine. The compounds are alive. They will spread through your body, connect to your nervous system. You will feel everything as they work. It can be intense, even frightening." "I'm already frightened," Deho said. "I'm dying in an alien medical station far from home." "Do what you need to do." Something like respect flickered in Lysara's 4 eyes. "Close your eyes, human. This will be strange for both of us." Deho closed his eyes. He heard Lysara moving around the pod, adjusting things. Then he felt her touch his forehead with one hand while another rested on his chest. Her skin was cool and smooth. "Opening the flow now," she said quietly. At first, nothing happened. Then Deho felt something warm spreading through his veins. starting from where Lysara touched him. It wasn't painful exactly, but it was the strangest sensation he'd ever experienced. Like tiny rivers of light were flowing through his body, finding every damaged cell, every burned place, every broken piece. His back arched involuntarily. The sensation grew stronger, more intense. He could feel the healing milk working, could sense it somehow. More than that, he could feel something else, a presence. Lysara, not just her physical touch, but something deeper. Her concentration, her determination, even her worry. What is happening? Teho gasped. The bond is forming, Lysara said, and he could hear surprise in her voice. But much faster than with my own people. Your body is accepting the healing milk as if it belongs there, as if you were Velthar yourself. The sensation continued to build. Teho felt like he was being remade from the inside out. The burning pain of radiation faded, replaced by a strange tingling coolness. His vision, even behind closed eyelids, began to shift. He saw colors he had never seen before, colors he didn't have names for. Impossible, a male voice said. The other doctor. His cellular regeneration rate is accelerating beyond anything I've recorded. He's healing faster than our own people do. His body is enhancing the healing milk somehow, Lysara said. Her voice sounded distant, dreamlike. I can feel it. The compounds are becoming more effective as they spread through him. Time lost meaning. Teho floated in the sensation, in the strange connection to Lysara, in the feeling of his body knitting itself back together cell by cell. When it finally began to fade, he felt exhausted but whole. More than whole. He felt strong in a way he never had before. You can open your eyes now, Lysara said softly. Teho opened them and immediately gasped. The world looked different, sharper, brighter, and Lysara's glowing patterns, which he'd thought were just decoration, suddenly made sense. They were language, communication. He could read them somehow, understand the emotions they conveyed. She was feeling amazed, confused, and cautiously hopeful. Did it work? He asked. Lysara stepped back, and all four of her hands were shaking slightly. You should have taken days to heal. You're showing no signs of radiation damage at all, none. She looked at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. What are you humans made of? Teho sat up slowly, testing his body. Everything worked. Everything felt good. Better than good. I don't know, he said. But I think we both just discovered something important. Outside the medical bay, neither of them knew that this moment would change everything. That what started as a desperate attempt to save one human life would shake two civilizations to their cores. That the simple act of healing would reveal a connection between species that no one had imagined possible. All they knew was that something profound had happened. And there was no going back. Teho stared at his hands in the dim light of the recovery room. They looked normal, but they felt different. Stronger somehow. More alive. He flexed his fingers and watched the muscles move under his skin. 24 hours ago, he had been dying. Now he felt like he could run a marathon. You should not be awake yet, Lysara said from the doorway. Her glowing patterns pulsed in what Teho somehow knew was surprise. Most patients sleep for at least 2 days after receiving healing milk treatment. I feel fine, Teho said. Better than fine, actually. Lysara moved into the room with that strange grace the Velthar had, like they were always floating slightly above the ground. She carried a device that looked like a tablet but glowed with its own light. Your recovery is abnormal. Fascinating, but abnormal. She ran the device over him. Your cellular structure has not only repaired itself but improved. Your cells are now producing compounds I've never seen before. Is that bad? Teho asked. I don't know, Lysara admitted. She seemed troubled. The healing milk contains nanobiotic compounds, microscopic living organisms that repair damage. They usually die after completing their work. In your body, they are thriving, multiplying even. Teho felt a flutter of worry. Am I dangerous? No, at least not in the way you're thinking. Lysara sat down on the edge of his bed. It was a strangely human gesture. The compounds are not harming you. They're bonding with your cells, becoming part of you, and your cells are teaching them new things, making them stronger. My other crew members, Teho said suddenly, are they responding the same way? Lysara's pattern shifted to a darker blue. That's the strange part. They are healing, yes, much faster than we expected. But not like you. You are special somehow. Before Teho could respond, the door opened and another Velthar entered. This one was older if Teho was reading the patterns correctly. The glow was dimmer, the colors more settled, Dr. Kivnal, Lysara stood quickly. I was about to send you my report. I've been monitoring from the observation room, Kivnal said. His voice was deep and carried authority. He looked at Deho with all four eyes, studying him like a specimen. This is unprecedented. In 300 years of practicing medicine, I have never seen a patient respond to healing milk this way. Is there a problem? Deho asked carefully. That depends, Kivnal said. Tell me, human, do you feel any different? Beyond the physical healing? Deho thought about it. I can understand your patterns. The lights on your skin, they mean things, don't they? Emotions, thoughts, the room went very quiet. Lysara's patterns flashed bright with shock. Kivnal's settled into a deep purple that felt like concern. That should not be possible, Kivnal said slowly. Our bioluminescent communication is biological, instinctive. Other species cannot interpret it, even with translators. But I can, Deho said. He pointed at Lysara. Right now you're feeling amazed and worried. And you, he turned to Kivnal, are feeling suspicious and cautious. How? Lysara breathed. I don't know, Deho said. But I could feel it starting during the treatment. When the healing milk was flowing through me, I could feel you, Lysara. Your presence, your emotions. I thought it was just part of the treatment. It is, Kivnal said. The bond between healer and patient during healing milk treatment is well documented. But it fades within hours. It should not give you permanent access to our communication methods. He turned to Lysara. This human's biology has integrated with the nanobiotics in a way that defies our understanding. Over the next few days, Deho became the subject of intense study. Lysara ran tests, drew samples, scanned him with devices he couldn't name. Other Velthar doctors came to observe him, their patterns flickering with curiosity and concern. His crew members were healing too, but more slowly. They were grateful, relieved, but they looked at Deho strangely now. He was different, changed. It created a distance between them that hurt more than the radiation had. The nanobiotics in your system are producing antibodies, Lysara explained during one examination, but not normal antibodies. These are enhanced versions that make the healing milk more effective. It's as if your body recognized a weakness in our medicine and fixed it. Humans adapt, Deho said quietly. It's what we do best, survive and adapt. Apparently, Lysara said. She seemed tired. Her patterns were muted, less vibrant. Dr. Kivnal wants to present our findings to the medical council. This discovery could change everything we know about interspecies medicine. He doesn't trust me, Deho observed. His patterns always go dark when he looks at me. Lysara hesitated. He fears what you represent. The Velthar have always been the medical experts of this region of space. The idea that humans might have something we need, something that makes our medicine better, challenges our identity. And you? Deho asked. What do you feel? Lysara met his eyes, all four of hers to his two. I feel curious, excited, hopeful. Her patterns shifted through colors as she spoke. And yes, a little frightened, not of you, but of what others might do with this knowledge. She was right to be frightened. That night, as Deho lay in his recovery bed, he overheard voices in the corridor outside his room. The human is an anomaly, Kivnal's voice said. We should have treated him and sent him away. Instead, Lysara has created a medical mystery that will draw attention we don't need. The knowledge we could gain, another voice argued. At what cost? Kivnal snapped. Do you know what the military will do when they learn that humans and Velthar can achieve biological symbiosis? They will want to weaponize it, turn it into something terrible. Then we keep it secret. Too late for that. The other humans will talk, and humans always talk. Their species cannot keep secrets. Deho lay very still, processing this. He had stumbled into something bigger than he understood. The healing milk hadn't just saved his life. It had revealed a connection between humans and Velthar that could either bring their species together or tear them apart. The next morning, Lysara came to his room with unusual urgency. Her patterns were flashing rapid colors that Deho had learned meant stress. We need to run one more test, she said. Something I thought of last night. What kind of test? I want to see if the effect works both ways. She held up a small medical blade. I'm going to make a small cut on my arm. Then I want you to touch it. What? Why? Because if your body has integrated the healing milk, if you're producing enhanced nanobiotics, then perhaps you can now act as a healer yourself. Her patterns showed determination and hope. Perhaps you can give back what I gave to you. Deho watched as she made a small incision on one of her forearms. Blue blood, luminescent like her skin, welled up. She held her arm out to him. Just touch it, she said, and think about healing, about helping. Deho placed his hand over her wound. At first, nothing happened. Then he felt something warm flowing from his palm. The same sensation he'd felt when receiving the healing milk, but in reverse. Like something was flowing out of him instead of into him. Lysara gasped. I feel it. I feel your presence like you felt mine. Her patterns exploded in brilliant colors. Look, Deho lifted his hand. The wound was closed, healed completely, as if it had never been there. They stared at each other in amazement. Deho broke the silence first. What have we become? Partners, Lysara said softly. Symbiotic partners across species. Something that shouldn't be possible but is. She touched his face gently with one hand. This will change everything, Deho. For both our peoples. Change it for better or worse? That depends on what we do next, Lysara said. Her patterns showed determination. And whether we can keep this discovery away from those who would use it for harm instead of healing. But even as she spoke, messages were already flying through the communication networks. News of the miraculous human recovery was spreading. Interest was building. Questions were being asked. The galaxy was about to learn what Deho and Lysara had discovered by accident. That humans and Velthar shared something profound, something that defied all known biology, and not everyone would be happy about it. Time was running out to decide what to do with this dangerous, beautiful secret. The healing had only just begun, but already Deho could feel the complications coming. He could read it in the patterns of every Velthar who looked at him now. Fear, wonder, greed, and hope, all mixed together in colors he was still learning to understand. The rescue ship arrived on the 7th day. Deho stood at the observation window and watched it dock, his heart pulling in 2 directions at once. He was happy to see other humans again, but part of him had grown comfortable here among the Velthar. Among Lysara especially. Your sister is on that ship, Lysara said from behind him. She had taken to appearing quietly these days, and Deho always knew she was there before she spoke. The bond between them had grown stronger, more constant. He could feel her presence like a warm light in the back of his mind. How did you know I have a sister? We went through your personnel file after you became stable, Lysara admitted. Jiwoo, she's an engineer like you. She requested permission to come personally. Deho turned to face her. Are you nervous? Lysara's patterns flickered. Is it that obvious? To me it is. Deho smiled slightly. You're worried about what the other humans will think. What they'll say about what happened to me. Your people may not understand, Lysara said. They may think we experimented on you. Changed you against your will. But you saved my life. Not all actions are judged by their intentions. Lysara moved to stand beside him at the window, and Dr. Kivanal has advised the station commander to limit contact between you and your people. He fears complications. Complications, Deho repeated. That's one word for it. The docking process took another hour. Then the airlock opened and humans poured into the station. Deho's surviving crew members greeted their rescuers with tears and laughter. But Jiwoo headed straight for Deho, her face tight with worry. She stopped 3 feet away, staring at him. They told me you were dead. The radiation levels, the exposure time. They said no one could survive that. I almost didn't, Deho said. Jiwoo stepped closer, searching his face. She was 2 years younger than him, with the same dark eyes and stubborn chin. But you look better than before the accident, healthier, stronger. She glanced at Lysara. What did they do to you? They saved me, Deho said firmly. With medicine we don't have. Medicine we didn't even know existed. Show me, Jiwoo demanded. She pulled out a small knife, and before anyone could stop her, she cut her palm. Blood ran down her wrist. If their medicine is so amazing, heal this. Jiwoo, don't, Deho started, but Lysara placed a hand on his arm. It's all right, show her. She deserves to understand. Deho took his sister's hand. He felt the familiar warmth building in his palm, the sensation of the nanobiotics flowing through him. Jiwoo's eyes went wide as her cut sealed itself, leaving only smooth skin behind. How? She whispered. The healing milk, Lysara explained. It created a symbiotic bond between your brother and my people. He can now heal as we heal. Other humans were gathering now, watching with a mixture of awe and suspicion. One of them, a tall man with captain's bars, stepped forward. "I'm Captain Thalrix of the human relief vessel. We need a full medical report on all survivors." "I am Station Commander Thalrix," a new Velthar voice said. The commander was larger than other Velthar, with patterns that glowed in deeper colors. "Your crew members are cleared for transport, except for the one called Deho." "Excuse me?" Captain Park bristled. "He's a human citizen. You can't hold him." "I am not holding him," Commander Thalrix said. "I am requesting that he remain for further medical observation. The treatment he received was unprecedented. We need to monitor for long-term effects." "What he means," Dr. Kivenel appeared beside the commander, "is that your crew member has become something unique, a bridge between our species. We need time to understand what that means." Jiwoo looked at Deho. "What do you want to do?" Deho looked at Lysara, then back at his sister. "I want to understand this too. What happened to me, what I can do now. It's bigger than just me. This could help both our peoples. Or it could be used to hurt them," Captain Park said grimly. "You don't know these aliens? We've been in Cold War with them for 20 years. "We've been in Cold War with you," Commander Thalrix corrected. "Because both our peoples are too stubborn and proud to find common ground." "And you think this is common ground?" The human captain gestured at Deho. "One accidental medical breakthrough?" "Yes," Lysara said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. "I think that's exactly what it is. Don't you see? Deho's body accepted our healing milk as if it was made for him, as if humans and Velthar were meant to help each other." Her patterns glowed bright with passion. "What if there are other ways our species are compatible? What if we've been fighting when we should have been cooperating?" "Pretty words," one of the human engineers muttered. "But words don't change politics." Jiwoo was still staring at her brother. "You feel different," she said quietly. "Not bad different. Just different. Like you're more than you were before." "I am more," Deho admitted. "But I'm still me, Jiwoo." "Still your brother?" She hugged him suddenly, fiercely. "Then I'm staying too. If you're staying to figure this out, you'll need an engineer. Someone who speaks your language." "We have translators," Dr. Kivenel said. "I don't mean Korean," Jiwoo shot back. "I mean family. He needs family here, not just alien doctors." Over the next 2 days, a compromise was reached. Deho would stay on the station for 3 months with Jiwoo and a small human medical team to monitor him. In exchange, Velthar medical experts would share their findings with human scientists. It was a small step, but it felt significant. "Both governments are paying attention now," Lysara told Deho as they worked in her laboratory. He had taken to helping her with her research, his new abilities making him a unique test subject. "We've received inquiries from the Human Colonial Medical Authority and the Velthar Health Ministry." "That's good, isn't it?" Deho asked. "Maybe." Lysara's patterns showed uncertainty, but I'm also receiving messages from military research divisions, both human and Velthar. They want to know if this symbiosis can be weaponized. Can it? Everything can be weaponized if you try hard enough. Lysara set down her instruments. "That's what frightens me. We discovered something beautiful, Deho. A way for 2 species to help each other heal, but others will see it as a way to create super soldiers or biological weapons. Then we don't let them," Deho said firmly. "It may not be our choice." Jiwoo entered the lab carrying equipment. She had thrown herself into understanding the Velthar technology with typical enthusiasm. "I've been going through your medical databases." "With permission," she added quickly, seeing Dr. Kivenel's disapproving look. "And I found something interesting." "What?" Lysara asked. "Records of other species attempting healing milk treatments. None of them worked the way it worked with my brother." Jiwoo pulled up a screen showing complex data. Every other species either rejected the treatment or had minimal response. But humans, specifically Deho, showed unprecedented integration. "We know this," Dr. Kivenel said impatiently. "Yes, but do you know why?" Jiwoo's eyes were bright with excitement. "I compared human genetic data with Velthar genetic data. We shouldn't be compatible. Our biology is completely different. But there's something in human adaptive genes, the ones that help us survive in new environments. They recognize the healing milk as beneficial and adapted to accept it. Human adaptability," Lysara breathed. "That's the key. Humans are survivors," Deho said. "We adapt to anything. New planets, new conditions, new situations. Our bodies learned to accept your medicine because that's what human bodies do. They find ways to survive and thrive. Which means, Jiwoo continued, that other humans could potentially receive the same treatment, could develop the same abilities. Daeho isn't unique. He's just the first. The implications hit them all at once. If any human could achieve this symbiosis, if the healing milk could work on all of humanity, then the relationship between humans and Velthar would have to fundamentally change. They wouldn't be just neighbors in space anymore. They would be partners, dependent on each other in ways no two species had ever been before. This information cannot leave this room, Dr. Kivanal said urgently. Not yet. Not until we understand all the implications. Too late for that, Commander Thalric said from the doorway. His patterns were dark with concern. A spy satellite just entered our sensor range. Human military. They've been watching the station, and we detected a Velthar intelligence ship on the far side of the system, the human Captain Park added, appearing behind the commander. Seems like both our governments are more interested in this situation than they let on. Daeho felt the weight of what they had discovered settling on his shoulders. The healing milk had saved his life, yes, but it had also opened a door that powerful people would fight to control. The question was whether that door led to cooperation or conflict. He looked at Lysara and saw his own concern reflected in her patterns. They had started something they might not be able to stop, something that would either bring their peoples together or drive them further apart. The galaxy was watching now, and everyone wanted to know what the human who could heal like an alien might mean for the future. The man who came for Daeho wore an expensive suit and a fake smile. He introduced himself as Director Hyun-sik from the Human Colonial Medical Authority, and he spoke with the kind of authority that expected obedience. Mr. Daeho, I'm here to escort you back to human territory, Hyun-sik said pleasantly, for your own safety and proper medical care. Daeho sat across from him in the station's meeting room, with Lysara standing behind his chair. Jiwoo leaned against the wall, arms crossed, her expression suspicious. I'm receiving excellent medical care here, Daeho said carefully. From aliens, Hyun-sik said, as if that explained everything. We have the best human doctors ready to examine you, to understand what was done to you. What was done to me was saving my life. Perhaps. Hyun-sik's smile didn't reach his eyes, or perhaps they conducted an experiment. Changed you in ways we don't yet understand, ways that could be dangerous. The only danger I see, Jiwoo said sharply, is people who want to control something they don't understand. Hyun-sik ignored her, keeping his focus on Daeho. The authority has authorized me to use any means necessary to ensure your return. We can do this the easy way or the difficult way. Is that a threat? Lysara asked. Her patterns had gone dark with anger. It's a statement of fact. Hyun-sik finally looked at her. Your station is in neutral space, but barely. One diplomatic incident and it could be considered hostile territory. Before anyone could respond, Commander Thalrix entered with another Velthar. This one was different from the others Daeho had met. Sleeker, with patterns that moved too fast, shifting through colors in a way that made Daeho's head hurt trying to read them. This is Research Director Venzara, the commander said. His own patterns showed deep unease. From the Velthar Military Science Division, Venzara studied Daeho with cold interest. Fascinating specimen. The reports don't do justice to the reality. She spoke without using a translator, her voice coming directly into Daeho's mind through the bond. It was invasive, wrong. I'll need to take custody of the human for proper study. Absolutely not, Lysara said. He's my patient. He's a potential weapon, Venzara said bluntly. And weapons belong in military hands. Now wait just a minute, Hyun-sik stood up. This human is not going anywhere with your military. Nor with yours, Venzara countered. They began arguing, their voices rising. Daeho felt sick. He could read Venzara's patterns now, could see the cold calculation behind her words. She didn't see him as a person, just a thing to be used. Through the bond he felt Lysara's distress. And something else. A warning. She was trying to tell him something without speaking. I need air, Daeho said suddenly, standing. This is too much. Sit down, Hyun-sik ordered. Let him breathe. Jiwoo moved to her brother's side. He's not a prisoner. In the confusion, Lysara touched Daeho's arm. Through the contact, images flooded his mind. Files, documents, evidence. She had found something and was sharing it with him the only way she could without others knowing. Daeho stumbled, overwhelmed by the information. Jiwoo caught him. He needs rest now. They managed to get out of the room, Jiwoo practically dragging Daeho. Lysara followed, her patterns showing false concern for the others while secretly guiding them to her private lab. Once inside with the door sealed, Daeho collapsed into a chair. What was that? What did you show me? Files I wasn't supposed to see, Lysara said. She pulled up screens showing documents in both human and Velthar languages. I've been investigating since the military started showing interest. What I found is disturbing. Show us, Jiwoo demanded. Lysara displayed the documents. 3 years ago, a joint human Velthar research station detected unusual biological compatibility between our species. They didn't publicize it. Instead, both governments classified the information and shut down the station. They knew. Daeho felt cold. They knew we could be compatible and they hid it? Because of this, Lysara showed another document. Military projections. Both sides ran simulations of what would happen if humans and Velthar formed an alliance. The conclusion was the same for both. Such an alliance would destabilize the entire region. Several other species depend on the Cold War between us. They profit from it politically and economically. So they buried it, Jiwoo said. Let our people stay enemies rather than risk the status quo. Until Daeho's accident forced the issue, Lysara said. Now they can't hide it anymore. So they're trying to control it instead. By controlling me, Daeho said. You're living proof that the compatibility is real, Lysara explained. Venzara wants to create soldiers enhanced by healing milk. Super soldiers who can't die easily. Hyunsik probably has similar orders. We need to expose this, Jiwoo said. Tell everyone what the governments have been hiding, and get killed for it? Lysara's patterns flickered with fear. The moment we go public, we become targets. Both sides will want us silenced. Daeho stood up, pacing. Through the bond, he could feel something from Lysara. Not just her emotions now, but her physical state. Her heart was racing. Her breathing was shallow. The bond had deepened without them noticing, connecting them in ways that went beyond the original healing. You're scared, he said to her. Of course I'm scared, Lysara admitted. But I'm also angry. I became a doctor to heal people, not to be part of weapons research or political games. Then we don't play their games, Daeho said. We make our own rules. How? Jiwoo asked. Before Daeho could answer, alarms blared through the station. Red lights flashed and an automated voice announced an emergency lockdown. What's happening? Lysara rushed to her console. The screen showed chaos in the docking bay. Human soldiers and Velthar military personnel were facing off. Weapons drawn. Both sides had sent reinforcements without warning. They're going to fight over you, Jiwoo realized. Right here on the station. Commander Thalrix's voice came through the communication system. All personnel evacuate to emergency pods. Military forces are taking control of the station. This is not a drill. We have to go, Lysara said urgently. Now. They ran through corridors that were suddenly filled with panicking station personnel. Daeho could see both humans and Velthar fleeing, their old enmities forgotten in the face of their own military's aggression. There, Jiwoo pointed to an emergency pod. They crammed inside along with 3 Velthar medical staff. The pod launched automatically, shooting away from the station. Through the small window, Daeho watched the station recede. He could see more military ships arriving, both human and Velthar. The Cold War was getting hot and it was his fault. I should go back, he said. Give myself up. Stop this. That's exactly what they want, Lysara said. Her patterns showed fierce determination despite her fear. They want you docile, controllable. That's why they created this crisis. To force your hand. She's right, one of the Velthar medical staff said. Vensara is known for this kind of manipulation. Create a problem, then offer herself as the solution. Where are these pods programmed to go? Jiwoo asked. The nearest civilian station, another staff member answered. About 6 hours away. Daeho sat back, his mind racing. Through the bond, he felt Lysara's hand find his. The touch sent a wave of calm through both of them. Their connection had become something more than medical now. Something neither of them fully understood but both relied on. We have 6 hours, Daeho said. We need a plan. We need proof, Jiwoo corrected. Lysara found documents, but we need more. We need evidence that both governments have been hiding the truth. Evidence so solid they can't deny it. I know where to find it, one of the younger Velthar spoke up. Her name was Hira, and her patterns showed nervous determination. I work in records. I've seen files that aren't supposed to exist. Communication between human and Velthar officials going back years. Agreements to suppress any evidence of compatibility between our species. Can you access them remotely? Lysara asked. Maybe, if I can route through the civilian network without being traced. Hira pulled out a small device. But if they catch me, I'll be arrested for treason. We're all probably guilty of treason by now, Deho said grimly. Might as well go all the way. As Hira worked on her device, Deho looked at Lysara. When this is over, when we expose the truth, everything changes. For both of us. I know, Lysara said softly, but we can't hide anymore. The healing milk showed us what's possible between our peoples. Real cooperation. Real connection. If we stay silent, others will twist it into something ugly. Found them, Hira announced. Hundreds of files. Communications, research data, even contingency plans for what to do if human Velthar compatibility became public knowledge. Download everything, Jiwoo said. We're going to need it all. The pod hummed through space, carrying them toward an uncertain future. Behind them, military forces fought over secrets that were already slipping through their fingers. Ahead of them lay the difficult work of telling the truth to two species that had been living with lies. Deho felt the weight of it settling on his shoulders. He was just an engineer, just a man who had been in the wrong place at the wrong time. But somehow he had become a symbol of something bigger, something that scared powerful people. Good, he thought. Let them be scared. Let them see that humans don't give up, don't bow down, and don't let others control their destiny. The conspiracy was unveiled. Now came the hard part. Aki, the civilian station, was called Haven's Rest, and it lived up to its name. Unlike the sterile military stations or specialized research facilities, this place felt alive. Markets filled the corridors where humans and Velthar traded side by side. Children of both species played in the recreation areas, their laughter identical despite their different biology. Deho watched it all with new eyes. This was what the governments feared. Not weapons or war, but simple coexistence. People of both species getting along without permission from above. We need to broadcast the files, Jiwoo said. They had taken refuge in a small rental unit, cheap but secure. Get them to every news network, every public forum. Make it impossible to suppress. The moment we do that, they'll shut down all communication, Lysara said. They'll claim it's fake propaganda. Without context, without someone to explain what the files mean, they're just data. Then we provide context, Deho said. We tell our story. Show them what happened to me, what we discovered together. They'll call you liars, Hira warned. Her patterns showed deep worry. Both governments are already spinning the story. The humans are saying the Velthar experimented on you. The Velthar are saying humans are trying to steal our medical technology. Then we need more than just us, Jiwoo said. She was pacing, thinking. We need credibility. Scientists, doctors, people both species trust. I might know someone, Lysara said slowly. Young me. She's a human xenobiologist who's been studying cross-species compatibility for years. Both sides respect her work. Can she help us? Deho asked. If we can reach her. She's at the research colony on Velkar Prime. Lysara checked her device. 3 days travel from here. Too far, Jiwoo said. They'll find us before then. Not if we bring her here. Deho turned to Hira. Can you send a secure message? Something that won't be intercepted? Hira nodded. The civilian network has channels the military doesn't monitor closely. They think civilians aren't important enough to watch carefully. Their mistake, Deho said. While Hira sent the message, Jiwoo worked on a different approach. She had brought equipment from the station, engineering tools that she was adapting for a new purpose. What are you building? Deho asked. A broadcasting amplifier, Jiwoo said. If we're going public, we need to reach everyone at once. Every ship, every station, every settlement in this sector. I'm building something that can punch through any jamming they try to use. That's illegal, Lysara said. So is hiding the truth for 3 years, Jiwoo shot back. I'm done playing by their rules. Deho felt a surge of pride for his sister. She had always been fierce, but this was different. This was righteous anger, focused and productive. 2 days later, young Mi arrived. She was older than Deho expected, with gray in her hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She looked at Deho the way a scientist looks at an impossible equation. Show me, she said without preamble. Daeho demonstrated his healing ability, sealing a small cut on her arm. Young-mi watched with fascination, taking readings with her equipment. Incredible, she breathed. The nanobiotics have fully integrated with your cellular structure. You're not just healed, you're enhanced. Your cells are producing compounds that shouldn't be possible in human biology. Can other humans do this? Lysara asked. Young-mi looked at the data from Daeho's treatment. Theoretically, yes. The human adaptive system is incredibly flexible. If Daeho's body could integrate the healing milk, others should be able to as well. She paused, her expression growing serious. But there's more. I've been studying human biology for 20 years. We're not just adaptable. We're universal donors. What does that mean? Daeho asked. Human blood, human cells, human genetic material. It's all incredibly versatile. We can donate to more species than any other known life form. Young-mi pulled up charts showing complex genetic data. I've suspected for years that humans have a unique property. We can connect with other species in ways they can't connect with each other. The governments knew this? Jiwoo asked. They must have, Young-mi said grimly. It's why they buried my research 5 years ago. Told me it was too dangerous to continue. Dangerous to their power structure, Lysara said. If humans can help so many species, if you're natural healers and connectors, then the isolation policies make no sense. The Cold War becomes pointless. Exactly. Young-mi looked at them all. What you're about to do, going public with this, it will change everything. Are you ready for that? Daeho thought about it, about the life he'd had before the accident. Simple work, simple goals. That life was gone. But in its place was something bigger, something that mattered. I'm ready, he said. We're all ready, Jiwoo added. The others nodded. Then let's make history, Young-mi said. They spent the next day preparing. Jiwoo finished her broadcasting device. Hira compiled the most damaging files into an easily accessible format. Young-mi prepared a scientific presentation that even non-experts could understand. Lysara and Daeho practiced their statement, the words they would speak to billions of beings across the sector. The night before the broadcast, Daeho couldn't sleep. He found Lysara on the observation deck watching the stars. Nervous? He asked, joining her. Terrified, Lysara admitted. Her patterns swirled with colors he had learned meant deep emotion. We're about to make enemies of the most powerful people in this sector, both species. But we'll make friends too, Daeho said. People who want the truth, who want something better than Cold War and isolation. Lysara turned to him. The bond between us, it's become stronger. I can feel you now, even when we're not touching. Your emotions, your thoughts sometimes. I feel it too, Daeho said. Is that normal? For the healing milk bond? No, Lysara said softly. This is something else. Something new. Perhaps it's because you're human. Perhaps it's because we spent so much time together. Or perhaps, she paused, perhaps it's because we chose this. Chose to trust each other, to work together. Maybe the bond responds to choice as much as biology. Daeho took her hand. The touch sent warmth through both of them. Tomorrow changes everything. Tomorrow we show them what's possible, Lysara corrected. What humans and Velthar can do together. The next morning they assembled in the broadcasting booth Jiwoo had prepared. The device hummed with power, ready to send their message across every communication channel in the sector. Young-mi would go first, presenting the science. Then Hira would show the files, the evidence of government conspiracy. Finally, Daeho and Lysara would tell their story. Ready? Jiwoo asked, her hand on the activation switch. They all nodded. Jiwoo pressed the button. Young-mi began speaking, her voice calm and authoritative. She explained human universal compatibility, showed the research that had been suppressed, demonstrated why humans were unique among all known species. Then Hira displayed the files. Communication between human and Velthar officials, plans to suppress any evidence of compatibility, contingency procedures if the truth came out. It was all there, damning and clear. Finally, Daeho and Lysara stepped forward together. My name is Daeho, he began. I'm a human engineer. 3 weeks ago I was dying from radiation exposure. A Velthar doctor named Lysara saved my life with medicine our species didn't share. That's when we discovered something both our governments have been hiding. Humans and Velthar are compatible, not just medically but fundamentally. We can help each other in ways that should be impossible, Lysara continued. For 3 years, both our governments have known about this compatibility. They buried it because they feared change, feared what it would mean if our peoples worked together instead of staying apart. They call us enemies, Deho said. But they're wrong. We're not enemies. We're partners who haven't met yet. Healers who can help each other survive and thrive. The healing milk that saved Deho's life can save countless others, Lysara said. Human biology can enhance Velthar medicine. Together we can create treatments that work for dozens of species. But only if we choose cooperation over conflict, Deho said. Only if we refuse to let fear and politics keep us apart. They spoke for 20 minutes, telling their story, explaining what they had learned. As they talked, alerts began flooding in. The broadcast was being received across the sector. People were listening, and they were responding. Messages poured in from humans and Velthar alike. Doctors demanding access to the research, scientists offering to help, ordinary citizens calling for their governments to answer for the lies. On military stations, soldiers from both species began refusing orders to hunt for Daiho and his companions. Why fight over someone who wanted to help everyone? In civilian areas, protests erupted. Humans and Velthar marching together, demanding transparency, demanding cooperation. The broadcast continued for an hour as young Mi answered questions, as Hira showed more evidence, as Deho and Lysara demonstrated the healing bond in real time. Finally, Jiwoo ended the transmission. They all stood in the booth, exhausted and exhilarated. Did it work? Hira asked. Jiwoo checked the network. The files have been downloaded by millions. The broadcast reached every major settlement. They can't suppress it. The response came faster than anyone expected. Within 48 hours of the broadcast, both human and Velthar governments issued statements. They denied nothing, which was the smartest move they could make. The evidence was too strong. Instead, they tried to control the narrative. For the safety of both species, a joint committee will investigate, the official statement read. Until comprehensive studies are complete, unauthorized medical procedures between species are prohibited. They're trying to slow us down, Jiwoo said, reading the announcement. Make it illegal to do what we've already proven works. They're scared, Youngmi said. She had become their unofficial leader, using her scientific credentials to organize what came next. The protests are growing. People are demanding access to cross-species medical treatments. Both governments are losing control. Deho stood at the window of their new quarters. They had moved to a larger facility, as more people joined their cause. Scientists, doctors, even some former military personnel who had grown tired of the Cold War. We need to show them it works, Deho said. Not just talk about it, actually demonstrate cross-species healing on a larger scale. That's exactly what I've been working on, said a new voice. A human man entered wearing a doctor's coat. He was tall with kind eyes and steady hands. I'm Dr. Tae-jun, xenomedicine specialist. I've been studying your case files for the past week. And? Lysara asked. And I believe I can replicate the treatment protocol, Tae-jun said. With your help, Deho, and proper Velthar medical support, we can begin treating human patients with healing milk. The government's banned it, Hira pointed out. They banned unauthorized procedures, Tae-jun smiled. So we get authorization. We establish the first official interspecies medical institute, registered as a research facility in neutral space. Perfectly legal, Youngmi laughed. Using their own laws against them. I like it. Over the next month, they built something unprecedented. The Interspecies Medical Institute took shape on Haven's Rest Station. Velthar doctors worked alongside human physicians. Equipment from both civilizations filled the laboratories. And patients began to arrive. The first was a human woman with a degenerative nerve condition. Human medicine had given her 5 years to live. Lysara and Deho worked together, with Tae-jun monitoring every step. The healing milk was administered carefully, with Deho's enhanced biology, helping to make it compatible with the patient's system. The woman walked out 3 days later, her nerves completely regenerated. The second patient was a Velthar child with a genetic disorder. Human genetic therapy, guided by Youngmi's research, provided the solution. The child's patterns grew bright and healthy within a week. Word spread. More patients came. More doctors volunteered. The institute grew from a small clinic to a full medical complex. This is what they feared, Lysara said to Deho one evening. They stood in the observation room, watching doctors of both species work together in perfect cooperation. Not that we'd fight, that we'd succeed. Humanity's best weapon, Deho said. Not guns or ships. Just stubborn refusal to give up on making things better. Their bond had continued to deepen. They could sense each other from anywhere in the station now. Sometimes Deho knew what Lysara was going to say before she said it. Sometimes she felt his emotions as if they were her own. It should have been frightening, but instead it felt natural. Right. Then came the plague. It started on a Velthar colony world called Priscival, a viral infection that spread through the Velthar population like wildfire. Within days, thousands were sick. Within a week, hundreds were dying. Our medicine isn't working, came the desperate message from Priscival. The virus mutates too quickly. We need help. The Velthar government refused to ask humans for assistance. Too proud, too stubborn. But the people of Priscival had no such pride. They broadcast their plea directly to the Institute. We have to go, Deho said immediately. It's not our jurisdiction, one of the human doctors argued, and the Velthar military might see it as invasion. People are dying, Lysara said firmly. That's the only jurisdiction that matters. Taejun stepped forward. I've analyzed the viral data they sent. It's similar to a human flu variant from 50 years ago. We developed a treatment for it. The same treatment might work on Velthar biology, especially with healing milk enhancement. Then we take the treatment to them, Youngmi said. Load up every medical supply we have, every volunteer who wants to help. The governments will try to stop us, Hira warned. Let them try, Jiwoo said. She had been working on the Institute's ships, keeping them running. We have 3 transport vessels, fast ones. We can be at Priscival before any military ship intercepts us. They prepared in hours. Medical supplies, equipment, volunteers from both species. Deho watched as humans and Velthar worked side by side, loading ships with the urgency that only a humanitarian crisis could create. You don't have to come, Lysara said to him. You've already done so much. Where you go, I go, Deho said simply. The bond between them made it impossible to consider anything else. The journey to Priscival took 18 hours. They received warnings from both human and Velthar military vessels. Orders to turn back, threats of interdiction. But Jiwoo's piloting kept them ahead of any pursuit. Priscival appeared on the view screen, a green and blue world that should have been beautiful. But Deho could see the dark spots on the surface, cities where the lights had gone out as the plague spread. They landed at the main spaceport. Velthar officials met them, their patterns showing desperate hope mixed with official disapproval. You weren't authorized to come, the governor said. People are dying, Taejun replied. We can help. Will you let us? The governor looked at his people, at the medical teams ready to deploy, at Deho standing beside Lysara in perfect partnership. His patterns shifted to determination. Save them, he said. Official authorization can come later. They spread through the colony like a healing wave. Human doctors treating Velthar patients, Velthar medics learning human techniques, and Deho moving from patient to patient, his enhanced healing ability accelerating recovery wherever he went. The treatment worked. The human flu protocol, modified with Velthar healing milk, stopped the virus in its tracks. Within 3 days, the death rate dropped to 0. Within a week, the plague was contained. Deho worked until he collapsed from exhaustion. When he woke, Lysara was beside him, her hand in his. How many? He asked. We saved over 50,000, she said softly. Lost maybe 3,000 before we got the treatment distributed, but 50,000 who would have died are alive because humans and Velthar worked together. The governments? Can't ignore this. Lysara showed him a newsfeed. It was full of images from Priscival. Human doctors embracing Velthar patients, mixed medical teams celebrating victories. The governor himself giving a speech praising the Institute's intervention. The people are demanding change, Lysara said. Both our peoples. They've seen what's possible. They won't accept the old ways anymore. Over the following weeks, everything shifted. The provisional alliance that had been proposed months ago was fast-tracked. The Interspecies Medical Institute was officially recognized by both governments. Funding poured in from private citizens, bypassing the military budgets that had dominated for so long. Deho became the Institute's official liaison, not because he wanted the position, but because both species trusted him. He was living proof that cooperation worked. More importantly, other humans began receiving healing milk treatments. Taejun perfected the protocol, making it safe and reliable. And he discovered something remarkable. Humans aren't just compatible with Velthar medicine, he announced at a medical conference. We can produce similar compounds ourselves. With the right genetic modification, human bodies can generate healing factors that work on multiple species. We're natural healers, Young Mi added. Not through any special power, but through biological flexibility. Humans adapt to help others. It's built into our DNA. The implications were staggering. Humans could become the galaxy's universal medical donors, not replacing other species' medicine, but enhancing it, making it better. Training programs began. Humans learning Velthar medical techniques, Velthar doctors studying human adaptability. A whole new field of medicine was being born, and it was based on cooperation instead of competition. Daeho and Lysara led the first classes together, teaching both species about the healing bond, about trust, about working across differences. You know what's funny? Daeho said to her one evening after a long day of teaching. What? I was just a mining engineer. Jiwoo was just an equipment tech. You were just a station doctor. None of us were supposed to change anything. Lysara's patterns glowed with warm colors. Maybe that's why we could. We weren't trying to change the galaxy. We were just trying to save lives. Help people. The change came because we cared, not because we planned it. Humanity's secret, Daeho said. We don't conquer. We don't dominate. We just keep helping until the whole galaxy is better for it. Political hardliners on both sides still resisted. There were protests against the new alliance, calls for a return to isolation. But they were. The assassination attempt came on a Tuesday morning, 6 months after the Percival intervention. Daeho was in the Institute's main medical wing when the alarm sounded. Through the bond, he felt Lysara's spike of fear from across the building. Security breach, the automated system announced. Armed intruders in Sectors 3 and 7. All personnel evacuate. Daeho ran toward Sector 3 instead of away from it. That's where the children's ward was. Young patients, both human and Velthar, recovering from various treatments. Vulnerable. He found Lysara already there, standing between the children and a group of armed figures. Their faces were covered, but their weapons were clear enough. 2 humans, 2 Velthar working together for once, united in their desire to destroy what the Institute represented. Get away from them, the lead attacker said, human voice cold and determined. No, Lysara said simply. Her patterns had gone dark, protective. This place is an abomination, one of the Velthar attackers said. Mixing species, breaking natural law. It has to end. The only thing ending here is you. Jiwoo's voice came from behind them. She stood in the doorway with a group of security personnel. But they were outnumbered, outgunned. The lead attacker raised his weapon. Time seemed to slow. Daeho saw the finger tightening on the trigger, saw the barrel pointing at Lysara, felt through the bond her absolute refusal to move away from the children. Then something unexpected happened. The patients moved. Not the children, they were too young, too scared. But the other patients in nearby rooms, humans and Velthar together, some still connected to medical equipment, some barely able to walk. They flooded into the corridor, placing themselves between the attackers and the medical staff. You want to destroy this place? An elderly human man said, his voice weak but firm. You'll have to go through all of us first, because these people saved my life. Mine too, a Velthar woman added, her patterns glowing with defiance. My daughter would be dead without them. More patients arrived. Dozens of them. Then staff members from other departments. Human engineers working with Velthar technicians. Scientists of both species who had learned to trust each other. Security teams that had been trained together. The attackers found themselves surrounded. Not by weapons, but by living proof that their ideology was wrong. That humans and Velthar could coexist. Could help each other. Could love each other in their own way. Stand down, the lead attacker said, but his voice had lost its certainty. No, said a new voice. Taejun stepped forward from the crowd. You stand down. Look around you. This is what the galaxy can be. What it should be. And we won't let you destroy it. The attackers hesitated. They had expected resistance from security, maybe from staff. They hadn't expected ordinary people, patients barely able to stand, to risk themselves for an ideal. One of the Velthar attackers lowered her weapon. This isn't right, she said. These people are sick. We're supposed to be better than this. They're corrupted, the lead attacker insisted.
Don't you see?
The humans have infected our people with their weakness. Weakness? The elderly human man laughed. I had 3 months to live. Now I have years thanks to Velthar medicine and human doctors working together. You call that weakness? I call it strength. The strength to ask for help. The strength to give help. The strength to admit we're better together than apart. The human attacker with the leader stepped back. I didn't sign up for this. For shooting sick people and kids. The situation teetered on the edge. Then Deho felt something through the bond. Not from Lysara this time, but from all the Velthar in the corridor. A pulse of shared emotion. Unity. Determination. Hope. And the humans in the corridor felt it too. Not through any medical bond, but through simple human empathy. The ability to understand what others were feeling. To connect across difference. The attacker's weapons lowered one by one. The lead attacker stood alone, still defiant. You can't stop what's coming, he said. There are others who think like us, who know the old ways were better. Maybe, Deho said, stepping forward. But you're already losing. Look at your own team. They couldn't pull the trigger. Because deep down, even extremists know the truth when they see it living and breathing in front of them. Security moved in and arrested the attackers without further incident. The patients slowly returned to their rooms, helping each other walk. Human arms supporting Velthar patients. Velthar hands steadying human ones. Jiwoo found Deho after everything calmed down. That was close, too close, Deho agreed. But it proved something. The people are ready for this. Maybe more ready than the governments. The attack made galactic news within hours. Both human and Velthar leaders were forced to respond. They could no longer dismiss the Institute as a fringe experiment. Too many citizens had declared their support. Too many lives had been saved. 1 week later, the official announcement came. The human colonial government and the Velthar Council had agreed to form a permanent alliance. Not just a ceasefire or trade agreement, but a genuine partnership. The Interspecies Medical Corps would become an official organization, funded by both governments, tasked with bringing cross-species healing to every corner of their shared space. The ceremony took place on Haven's Rest, the station where it had all begun. Deho and Lysara stood on the stage together, representatives of what was possible when two species chose cooperation over conflict. The human president spoke first. We have spent 20 years viewing the Velthar as potential enemies. We prepared for war while our people suffered from diseases we couldn't cure. It took one engineer's accident and one doctor's courage to show us a better path. The Velthar Council elder followed, her patterns glowing bright. We thought our medicine was the pinnacle of achievement. We were wrong. It took human resilience to show us how much further we could go. How much more we could heal when we worked together. Then it was Deho's turn to speak. He looked out at the audience, humans and Velthar mixed together, and felt the weight of the moment. I'm not a hero, he began. I'm just an engineer who got lucky. Lucky to survive. Lucky to meet a doctor who cared more about saving lives than following rules. Lucky to have a sister who wouldn't let the truth stay buried. He gestured to Jiwoo in the front row. She waved, embarrassed by the attention. But I learned something through all of this, Deho continued. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to adapt, to change, to look at something impossible and say, let's try anyway. We survive not by being the strongest or the smartest, but by being the most willing to work with others. To learn from others. To help others even when it's hard. He paused, feeling Lysara's presence beside him through the bond. They asked me to close my eyes so they could heal me. I opened them to find friends, partners, a whole new future none of us expected. That's what humans do. We turn strangers into family. We turn wounds into bridges. We heal not just bodies, but entire civilizations. Lysara spoke next, her voice carrying through the translators. My people have a saying, the light that shines alone fades quickly. The light that joins with others burns forever. We thought our light was bright enough on its own. We were wrong. With humans, our light burns brighter than we imagined possible. The ceremony continued with the signing of formal treaties, the establishment of joint committees, the planning of new medical facilities across both territories. But for Deho, the most important moment came after, in the quiet of the Institute's observation deck. Young Mi found him there, looking at the stars. Thinking about the future? Thinking about how strange it all is, Deho said. 6 months ago I was dying. Now I'm apparently a symbol of interspecies cooperation. You're more than that, young me said. She pulled up a display showing data streams. Do you know what's been happening since Percival? Humans and Velthar aren't just cooperating medically. They're working together on engineering projects, agricultural programs, even art and culture exchanges. You and Lusara didn't just create a medical revolution. You started a social one. We just did what felt right, Deho said. Exactly. Young me smiled. That's the human factor. You don't overthink it. You see a problem, you fix it. You see someone hurting, you help them. You do what feels right and somehow it changes everything. Jiwoo joined them, carrying equipment bags. Ready to go? Go where? Deho asked. The new institute facility on the outer rim, Jiwoo said. They need someone to set up the medical systems. I volunteered us. Figured you'd want to be there for the opening. Both of you are coming. Lysara appeared with Hira beside her. All of us, Hira said. Young me, too. We're a team now. The Dream Team, Taejun added, arriving with his own bags. The group that changed the galaxy. We can't stop now. Deho looked at them all. His sister, the engineer who never gave up. Young me, the scientist who proved humans were special. Taejun, the doctor who perfected cross-species healing. Hira, the brave records keeper who risked everything for truth. And Lysara, the doctor who had saved his life and shown him what real partnership meant. Then let's go, Deho said. More people to heal. More bridges to build.